Houthi rebels. You got
every single country in the Middle East.
It's a quagmire wrapped in a riddle, and then surrounded by Islamic terrorists.
Every single Middle East.
Figure it out.
Bashar Hussein is not. You cannot really put Bashar Hussein as a Islamic terrorist thing,
because he's fighting ISIS, which we're funding ISIS to fight against Bashar al-Assad.
Who's funding ISIS?
You tell me.
Qatar, who's actually funded by the United States. All right. So you don't understand. You see, this is how complicated.
I do understand how complicated it is.
People in the Middle East are either supported by Russia or supported by America, and they're fighting each other. So at the end of the day, you have people who have come to power because they have been supported by one of the superpower, and they're fighting against each other. Yeah. You have the Hamiditi, and you have the army in Sudan. Each one of them is supported by external powers. So it's not about like the Islamization of them. It's not about, the economy is bad because at the end of the day, these are warlords who are fighting against each other. But to reduce that, why can't they just like make some money while you completely ignore the power of the international powers that are involved into that? Like, for example, the country like Mali. Mali is like very, very restless. And the reason Mali is restless is that Paris is there and it's putting up like some sort of a puppet president, so Paris can continue taking its share of gold and put it into its coffers. So it's much more complicated than just selling Islamization or not Islamization. All of these power of play, you just gave me a Taliban and I give you the reason why America did that. Saddam Hussein, right? Saddam Hussein, he was the baby of the United States administration, and then he went in and he invaded Kuwait. Who gave him the money? Who gave him that kind of power? All right, it has been going on forever. The superpower are using the smaller countries, and they are controlling their own leaders in order to go fight each other, because at the end of the day, it works for them.
No, I'm in full agreement with you that that's a mystery wrapped in a riddle, wrapped in a quagmire, what's going on in the Middle East. And I'm in full agreement with you that there are proxy wars all over the Middle East, no doubt. But the tip of the spear that's funding all the chaos, Pat has said that this is the year of chaos. The tip of the spear with the chaos is Iran. And who's funding Iran? China, Russia, they have a relationship. Azerbaijan, they have some sort of relationship. How do you deal with Iran? Because Iran's greatest export...
Let's bomb it.
We haven't done it yet.
No, let's bomb it.
I don't think we should bomb it.
I think we should.
Okay.
No, let's bomb it.
Then let's elect you for a government official, and you're no better than what's going on. You have no better than the ministers. So you're the Nikki Haley camp. Let's go for it.
That's the answer. Bomb Afghanistan, bomb Iraq, bomb Palestine, bomb Iran, and let's see what happens.
I speak sarcasm better than the next guy. I trust you. I know you're being sarcastic. But what do you do about a regime that is funding Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah? They are the ones who are sowing discord. What do you do about Iran?
I remember like Colin Powell in the Security Council, like, let's bomb Iraq. And then they bombed Iraq. How is bombing Iraq had done to this country?
It was a fucking disaster.
Oh, yeah, really? But it will not be a fucking disaster to bomb Iran, right?
I'm agreeing with you. I know that you're speaking sarcasm, so people don't watch it.
You say like, oh, it's all about Iran. It starts like this.
Of course it is all about Iran. Who's funding the Houthis? Who's funding Hezbollah? Who's funding Hamas?
Because 20 years
billions of dollars they're giving to terrorist organizations.
Because 20 years ago.
And you just want to ignore that?
20 years ago, it was Iraq. And 20 years ago, it was Afghanistan, and they bombed them.
I got a question for both of you. I'm actually really curious and listen to both of you guys. This is my question. Okay. The part that both of you guys agree that we had a guy on the only guy, one of the guys I've had on a couple times, his name is John Perkins. He wrote a book called The Economic Hitman. I don't know if you've read the book. You know who he is. Okay. And one of the things he talked about the model on what it was, they go to a president, and that's what he did, by the way. This was his job, okay? He goes to a country that has a natural resource or location, oil, it's close to something that they can have some kind of control. And they go to him and they say, here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to come here and we're going to bring billions of dollars of infrastructure to your country. However, here's what you're going to give us. Okay? And then the presidents who said no, he says, a couple of them they killed.
Oh, shit.
That was his job, okay? And he doesn't say he killed them, but he says, if you said no, when I went back and I had to report back to the people that I work for that you're saying no to, guess what? Bad things are going to happen to you and your family. Wow. And it happened. Then the next model was we bring infrastructure, then we make the country go bankrupt. then you give us everything, then we control you. Are we naive enough to believe?
That's what China is doing now.
Exactly. But pre-China, we did that.
America did that,
and others have done that, and Russia's done that. Other people, and UK tried to do that to Iran, and then later on, eventually, UK, US, Germany, France. These guys got rid of the Shah because coup and all. The people have been involved with economic hitman for a long time. Here's a question for you, Bassem. Here's a question for you, Adam. Okay, so we both agree that that's going on. Okay, we both agree that that's been going on for many decades. No one can even dispute it nowadays. But now we're in this shithole. And what I mean by shithole, shit show, is insanity everywhere. Bassem, what do you do now? Is it more from the standpoint where a part of you was almost not optimistic? You're like, Pat, I think this thing's going to go and nothing's going to happen. It's going to continue all this other stuff, right? What do we do now? We were told during 2015, 2016, when it was a debate between Hillary Clinton and Trump.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what were we told? If Trump becomes the president, war is going to happen. This is what's going to happen. So everybody, we're all like, oh, shit, it's going to be pretty bad. This guy's going to have do you really want this guy to have the finger on the button? Okay. He goes in. ISIS disappears. There's no war. It's quiet, low-key. Everything's good. Boom, boom, boom. And then, and then boom. Biden gets elected. He's going to be peace. He's going to bring everybody together. He's going to bring this. He's going to... Then he comes in, and then, Afghanistan happens within months. Mm-hmm. $83 billion of equipment being left, and you got Ukraine, Russia, and then you got this. And then there's a bunch of guys, economists, that are talking about, this is China's year to try to invade Taiwan because Taiwan's got an election coming up.
It's a shit show, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but the point is, there's so many contradictions in politics as well. At a point like this, Bassem, where mainstream media is not going to tell us the real story because they're maybe not even getting the real story themselves on what's happening behind closed doors. What do you do today?
There is one of the most advanced military armies in the region, in the world, supported by the West, supported by America, have voting, they're diverting their vote all over, and they're killing people for all that time, and nobody is doing anything for
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about Israel.
Okay.
All right? So the killing has to stop. And I'm not talking about Gaza. I'm talking about what they do in the West Bank. Every single day in the West Bank, all of these people are being killed in the West Bank. And there's no Hamas came out from West Bank to do the 7th of October. All right? Just a couple of days ago, a woman was walking with her children, snap, walking the street. That is the regular days of people in the West Bank. Do you think the problem is Gaza? What you see in Gaza is an accelerated, exaggerated form of what's happening in the West Bank too. So you have a country that has occupied the land, and they're making people living like animals. And if you deal people with like animals, they will come up as animals, right? So that is the crux of all. We can talk about politics and about economy. It's here till kingdom comes. What is happening is horrible injustice happening every single day. They're taking people, strip them up, saying them that they're Hamas. You have an 11 person being killed every hour. You have 247 person being killed every day. That is in 5 days. That is 1,400 people that were killed on this October 7th. You have 30,000 people. And the thing is, when you say 20,000, 30,000, numbers don't don't mean anything anymore. If I told you 1 million people died in Gaza, you will not flinch because their numbers have become so...
It's true.
See, it's nobody...
I don't disagree.
So we go into these circular motions. How can we stop that again? No, there is killing happening every day. My wife's family have actually cheated death so far for 100 days because they've been running from Khan Yunis to Rafah, back to Khan Yunis, and they were told in the beginning that Khan Yunis and Rafah are the safe place because it's in the south. And then